Welcome to Haunted Homebodies, where Halloween isn't just a day, it's a lifestyle. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sarah, and we're your guides through the delightfully dark corners of comfort horror.
So, for maybe the first time ever, we're just going to do a totally cold open. Today we're talking about the Burbs reboot, the TV show, which is a Peacock original. I don't know how many Peacock original things I have seen. To be honest. What else is a Peacock original?
Oh my gosh, this absolutely fantastic show called Mrs. Davis. It came out a few years ago. If I have not told you about this yet, I will. It's not usually what we discuss. It is one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen in my entire life. It is phenomenal from start to finish. It is a mini series, which I am such a fan of because I feel like every show I watch these days just like whiffs the last season. Mrs. Davis is phenomenally weird. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know how to describe it to you. It is that truly bizarre, but campy and wonderful and silly and like somehow smart through the whole thing. So there's a Peacock original for you.
There you go. I was also, you're saying that, thinking of a really less refined offering, the McBee Dynasty, I think it's called. It's like
I don't know what that
reality
is.
show. It's a reality show, like kind of Bravo-esque. I think it's a Peacock original, but it's about this like farming, like Midwest farming family. And they're like 5 boys and their dad, and they're all kind of Lotharios, and it's very silly.
Well, that's
and
fun.
Lots of drama. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, cool.
But
so
anyway, the Burbs. So season 1 aired in February, so I think I watched it probably in March, which feels like forever ago, but that was like really not long ago.
It feels like 2 years ago. I also watched it in March, in bed with the flu. I am not sure I would have watched it before now for the podcast, except that it was perfect sick in bed binging.
Yes, because you had to, like, it was entertaining enough to be, like, propulsive. You want to keep watching, but it was not so complex that you were like, what's going on? Who are these characters? What are we doing? Just to finish introing it, this is rated 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. And the one-line synopsis for anyone who doesn't know what the show is about is a young couple moves back to the husband's childhood home only to face threats from new neighbors and uncover dark secrets of their cul-de-sac. That sounds like every single like Netflix or Lifetime movie ever.
It's very true. I do feel like this is an interesting reboot in that it comes at a time and I think was trying to capture an audience that's like very into true crime.
Yeah.
Because like, right, she listen to a true crime podcast, the character.
That was one of the things about this show that kind of got me, is I felt like it was trying to be Only Murders in the Building, but like it was a worse version of that. So I love that. I still haven't caught up on that show, but I loved the first season so much, and then really enjoyed the second season, and then started to watch the third season and was like, I can't do this. I don't like it anymore.
It's not.
But you told me to get back into it. But yeah. Sometimes it is just good to quit while you're ahead, you know, because it just doesn't get better. But sometimes it does. So let me know if it does. I'll get back into it.
They just don't do that with shows anymore. They never really get better anymore. They just get worse.
They start trying too hard. And that was another thing I think about the show that I didn't appreciate. You went into the show fresh. Like most people are watching the show because they've seen the movie and liked the movie, or at least liked aspects of the movie, and were curious about how they would reboot this. And I felt like they took a fairly simple plot and then kind of made it really convoluted. And it wasn't confusing. It just was like layers upon layers. Like every single side character then had their very bizarre arc. Like they were trying to take this simple hour-and-a-half plot and then stretch it out over whatever it was, 8 or 10 episodes. And you could tell that you're just trying to do a lot that like maybe this plot just doesn't quite support.
This did not need to be a full season of television. In fact, I actually think this could have had a lot of promise as like a 4-episode little mini arc, maybe?
Half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they had some
Mhm.
interesting ideas that
Mhm.
also did, like we said last week, like, kind of modernize some things that could have used a little bit of modernization
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
I still think they played homage or homage, homage?
I still don't
I
really
don't
know.
know.
I don't know how to
Evan,
say that
Cullen,
word.
Cullen. Anyway, I need Evan's back on this. Okay. But they had a lot of references to the original that I think were fun and
Yeah.
cutesy, where they were paying their respects and using aspects from the story without having it just be like a regurgitation of the exact story. So I thought that was well done. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was just like there were many parts where I was like, okay, so we're just getting kind of like soap opera-y. And
Yeah.
it was just like a little bit much for
Well,
me.
and there was also, like it wasn't necessarily twists. I mean, there were twists, and the twists
Yes.
were good.
Yeah.
I would say. I think they gave me what the movie didn't, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that. But then, like, with some of what they were trying to add on, at some point, I was getting towards the end, and I was like, oh, they're trying to set up a second season, which
Yes.
also did not need to happen, and it made the first season worse for it.
Yes. The end was so bad. It was so bad, but
Mhm.
let's hold off.
We'll get
Let's hold
there.
off
We
on
will get
that. We're gonna
there.
try. We made it. I don't know, maybe 10 minutes in the last week, and this week we made like 5.
That's what
But
we
okay,
do. Our
let's
next podcast is just gonna be, let's talk about the ending
end of
first.
movies and
Yeah.
how bad all of the endings of everything ever ever is. um, okay,
Oh,
so last week when we were talking about the movie, I talked about my concerns. Well, I mean, we always have concerns about reboots, right? Because we're gonna be like,
yeah. Mhm.
are you going to respect the original? Are you going to add anything actually original to this
Truly.
rebooted concept?
Yes.
Is it just going to like annoy us the whole time? Neither of us, of course, you hadn't even seen the movie.
Yep.
I didn't have a particular attachment, but one thing in my mind I had going into the show, because I watched the show before I rewatched the movie, was that I really liked the characters from the movie. Just if you listen to
You
last
were
week's episode, I kind of, yeah, fell
corrected
back
in
on
that.
that. Yeah, I was like, maybe they aren't as charming as I remember. um, as a little background watch. Anywho, I still was like, well, it's going to be hard to kind of like have this cast of characters that feels truly unique and interesting without being, like super woke or just super similar to the original. And I thought they actually did a good job with this. I thought the characters, for the most part, had some interesting quirks. I liked all of them to a degree. I enjoyed watching their dynamic. I like that Kiki Palmer's character like became actual friends and they all actually seemed to care
Yeah.
about each other to a degree. I
Mhm.
thought like the little wine group was actually kind of cute. So that was
Yes.
Kiki Palmer. She's our main gal. She's named Samira. She has a husband who was a red herring for a while.
It's truly
So we were
really
made to really
yeah.
not like him and be suspicious of him. And then by the end, we're like, oh, he actually seems
And
like
she
maybe a great
also
guy.
becomes very suspicious of him for a while. It
Yes.
was
Oh, yes.
an interesting part of it. Yeah.
I thought so too. Like,
Yeah.
she was so convinced that I was like, okay, maybe like she had like his baby and they're like full on married. So if she can't
Could have
even
been like a
trust
very
him,
different show. Yeah.
I was trying to think of that because like, I have a young child with my husband who I also have not known for like a tremendous period of time. And I'm like, how much shit would have to go down where I'm like in a bunker with Chris and I'm like, is he gonna stab me?
Yeah.
Like how far would things have to go for
Yeah.
me to be like, are you a murderer?
Mhm.
And I just had no idea. You seem so nice. Um,
Hope
so we have the two of
yeah,
them.
I don't know. That's an
They
interesting
went on
thought
there.
experiment.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, we'd have to go pretty far, but they got there and then got back. Somehow he was like very quick to forgive her for her thinking that he
It's
was a murderer.
true.
Anyhow,
Mhm.
we have Lynn, the anxious widow. I was like, I'm not gonna like her at first, and then I was like, oh, she's actually kind of sweet and charming.
They made her I mean, like, her very first scene, they made her out to be, like, kind of
Kind of
racist.
racist. Yeah.
But then I think she was just well-meaning and
Yes.
uninformed, and then I thought she was pretty lovely through and she is, like,
Yes.
kind of batshit crazy also, we come to find
Uh-huh.
out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, big time. But still, like throughout kind of all of it, I was like on board with Lynn. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I
loved
like Lynn.
Lynn. Yep.
Dana I liked from pretty much the beginning. She was kind of like the Rumsfield stand-in, I suppose. She reminded me of like Melissa McCarthy vibes, very much so, and like the type of comedy.
Dana was my favorite part of the show, the most memorable part of the show, played by Paula Pell, who was a long time Saturday Night Live writer
Okay, yeah, that
who
makes sense.
has been in like more acting roles recently, including there's this other show. I can't remember if it started on Netflix and then it went to Peacock or the other way around. It's called Girls 5 Eva. And it
Hmm.
is about a old girl group who gets back together like in their like 30s and 40s, but also includes Paula Pell as one of these. It is like it's just an absolutely absurd comedy. I love it. She's great in that. I'm obsessed with her. Sorry, I just needed to go on a Paula Pell rant because
No.
I loved her and I loved
I
her in
love
this
when you do
show.
this and you name drop people, and I'm like, I didn't even know they had a name. Like, I mean,
Paula
of course I did,
Pell,
but
put her
yeah.
in more things, please.
Agreed, agreed. Hopefully after this, I mean, I don't know that the show was like a huge hit, but she's a bright spot in the show for sure. And also when I say she reminds me of Melissa McCarthy is a very specific Melissa McCarthy, which is that of Megan in Bridesmaids.
Yes,
She had a similar style of humor
it's
as
that
that.
like very physical humor also.
Yes,
She's
yes.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
actually funny, though. Like, I actually found her funny, which is very rare for me. I'm kind
Yeah.
of, like, stuck up about humor in films. Just not at all in real life. All I do is chuckle in real life. Anyway, then we have Todd. I couldn't remember how to describe Todd, but I also found him, like, awkward and endearing.
Yep.
He's supposed to be just awkward and endearing, I think. He's just very
Mhm.
socially strange, and at the same time, I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna like him. He's gonna end up being, like, mean or snooty." And no, he's just kind of a delight as well.
Yes, he
Yeah, they're all
was.
just sweethearts, like troubled sweethearts, and I was like, "Yes, I feel this."
There's also something so, last week you said this was like kind of a little bit more of a woke twist. I didn't even really think about it until like a few minutes before we started recording. But it kind of is a gender swapped version of the Burbs. Like it is
Yeah,
mostly this group of women who are,
right.
but then they do such a good job of balancing it because like
Yes.
Keke Palmer's husband is like also into it and his childhood best friend, like, and then we've got Todd. I don't know. I just felt like they did a good job of balancing that out.
Yes, without it just being like girl power, rah rah, like it's all about the
Yes.
women. Yeah, and it's like or like women's issues, like you're just
Yes.
making it like about like women being
Yes.
crazy. Because like that would have been really frustrating if the women acted like the men did in the movie. It would have been horrible, and people would have been like, "These women are so annoying," kind of like how we
100%.
were being about the men.
They
Which
were
not many
very
people feel. Most people
annoying.
think they're very funny in the movie, and
Mhm.
apparently I did at one point as well. So anyway, I'm a feminist now. Okay, so
We all grow. We all
um,
grow.
I also mentioned in last week's episode that I part of what I enjoyed about the movie is like the vibes. I'm just like always here for an 80s vibe, and I enjoyed the suburbia setting. This did nothing for me, I don't think, in terms of
Yeah.
cozy suburbia at all. I just didn't really like that. But um, one character I forgot before we move on from characters. You mentioned him, the childhood friend. What were your thoughts
Yes.
on Naveen?
Oh, I loved him. I thought he
Me
was
too.
fantastic.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so glad. Yeah, he also was one who could have been annoying, but ended up just being kind of endearing too. Like everyone was just really endearing.
They
Like I
did a
just really was rooting
really
for them.
they did a really good job, like, writing the characters and, like, really rounding them out
Yes, and
to
having
yeah.
major flaws.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, but none that were deal breakers for me.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did enjoy the characters, and like I said,
yeah,
I think the show's characters made me not like the movie as much because I was like, "Oh, these characters are just like way better
yeah,
and way more my speed as a 36-year-old mom." Apparently, my tastes
yeah.
have changed for the better.
I do wanna say, just because we, like, kind of went over her very quickly, but
Yeah.
I did think Keke Palmer was fantastic, but I just, like, I
Yeah.
find her to be very charismatic. Like, I
Yeah.
just like, there's a lot that I would watch her do because I think she's just an entertaining actress to watch,
Yes.
and I think she really brought that.
I also didn't check this because, like, apparently I don't do research anymore, but I think that maybe her brother in the show was her actual brother
Oh,
in real
really?
life. I totally
Interesting.
could be making that up,
Uh,
but I liked him too, and I thought he either way, I
yes.
just thought he was a fun little addition kind of in and
Mhm.
out for like this very sparse character. I felt like
Yeah.
he grabbed some scenes too, and it was like just a really fun like Funkle Funkle kind of
Yes.
vibes
You
with the
know,
little BB.
that is such a so just as jumping off from talking about that character, that was something very interesting that the show did that the movie did not at all, which was bring in the outside world a bit.
Yeah.
So like with her brother coming to visit as one example, but also them like even though it was still in town, like going to different places in town versus it all just like taking
Yes.
place on the street, which might take away from like some of like the coziness of like truly focusing on the cul-de-sac in the movie, but did help widen the world in a way I felt worked. But then we've got
Yeah.
Dana, who's literally, you find out, stuck it on the cul-de-sac with her ankle
Yes.
monitor because she was
Yes.
freeing some kind of animals that were being tested on, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, it was
I
something really
feel,
likable.
yeah,
I don't remember what her crime was, but I
yeah.
obviously didn't
It
get
was
offended
something
or
we
care about it.
supported, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you are you're all right in my book. Um, yeah, I agree. That definitely broadened the movie or the TV show and made it tolerable. Like as we said, trying to broaden like what was a confined hour and a half movie all within the cul-de-sac to then broadening it out into this much wider mystery. I did think the mystery, the central mystery was interesting, like the missing childhood friend, and
Yeah.
kind of what they did with that, and then the twist that she actually was the friend living like across the street in the creepy house.
Yes.
That was pretty good. Um, but then there was like also just like I said, all of the other characters kind of having their secret, and then some of the
It's a
secrets
little,
being like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm wearing an ankle monitor," and then like Lynn's secret being like, I, I
Yeah.
just that was too much for me. Like I think there was a way that they could have done that and it would have been okay, but the way that it was explained and then the way that it was dealt with, so it was the ended up being like the reveal was kind of fun. Like we find out that so we knew her husband's dead. We knew she's a
Yeah.
widow, but we find out that their husband was not dead and gone and buried, but in fact in her walk-in freezer and just like had been there
Just been
for
keeping
many
him there.
months.
She just couldn't let him go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is sad. But then she's also like he was having an affair, and then so
Yeah,
she starts
that
having
was
an
all way too
affair.
much. That was
Yeah.
too, yeah, that was too much. There could have just been like a little unhinged, like Lynn is a widow. She's really sad. For half an episode, we think she's hiding something, and it turns out her husband's still in her walk-in freezer. But then there were too many
Yes.
twists to this one.
It
Yeah,
was. It was. I
too
did
much
think the little
backstory.
romance was cute with the neighbor and like him kind of having like I wish he just like was single. It was just like a single neighbor and she just like kind of had a happy ending. I thought the like older person romance was actually really cute. I just wish that he was like a single man and then she could have just
Yes,
had her happy ending and then it
I
wasn't just like the
agree.
he has a mean wife and like they were also
Yeah.
cheated on so it's okay to cheat. Like no, I don't do any of that.
You know, when you first
No.
said it was like a little soap opera, which I can't remember if you said last week or this week in regards to the show, I was like, huh. No, now I remember. You are correct. It was a bit,
Yes.
it was
Her whole
soap
plot
opera.
line was just too much. And then it was like
Yeah.
trying to deal with the body and oh, it's a crime because he's in the freezer and she didn't report the death. But how did she not report the like none of it made sense.
No.
And then they ended up burying him in the foundation, which just gave me like more anxiety. And then like she
Yeah.
roped in the friends on it. So now it's
Mm-mm.
like they're all accomplices. And I was just like, this is too much and it's
This is
stressing me
like, it
out.
just felt like filler to get to a full
Yeah.
season that didn't need to be that long.
Exactly, because it's like,
Yeah.
where does this go from here? Like in another show, then it would be like, oh, something would come of that, and I think that's why it was giving me
Yes.
anxiety. So they're
Yeah.
gonna somehow exhume the
I
body,
mean,
but
there's a season 2.
I
Or I don't
know
know if there is a season 2, but they were setting up for a season
there has
2.
gotta if there, yeah, there's gotta be. Or that's the literal. If they had that be a planned ending, and they're like, okay, we're good to go, but hold on,
Yeah.
we're not gonna go there quite yet. Other things we liked about the show, we had a 5-second cameo of Corey Feldman. That was random and fun.
Great.
I guess I didn't have any other points beyond that.
So one thing that I liked was the setup of Kiki Palmer's character and why she is so invested in what's happening in the neighborhood versus Tom Hanks' character in the movie
Yeah,
where he's like super stressed about work, but they don't tell us what he does or what it was. And so he's taking a week off and he's kind of just a big man baby. But
right.
Kiki Palmer has just had a baby, has moved to her husband's childhood home. So she's an outsider, which is also a really interesting take on it. And
Yeah,
she's like going out of her mind because she, who was once this like very like powerful career person, is staying home with a baby, and that
yes.
is like what she's doing, like to now take up her time. I just thought that was a much more engaging premise to kick this off from.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. It was all of the characters just were more fleshed out, which is
Yeah.
something that you can do when you just like have a TV show to be able
Totally.
to do that. But
Yes.
I agree. It made for much more intriguing interactions. I do also love the like found family kind of thing where she was an outsider
Mhm.
and then you're like you're not really sure if she's going to connect or if I was going to even like any of these characters.
Yeah.
And then they do end up forming this bond and being super cute. And then you're
Mhm.
almost like a just like, oh, I just want this to be like a happy, cute, like little
It's
rom-com kind of
true.
movie where it's just like all about
Yes.
friendship. And then of course we just have like kind of the murder and mayhem aspect. So we didn't really touch on this last week, so we'll maybe bring it here this week, the kind of like cozy horror aspect of it all. So
Mm.
I feel like the movie pretty firmly fits into like our cozy horror definition, right? It's definitely got cozy
Sure.
elements
Yeah.
and it's got horror elements. It is not scary.
It
It's
is
not a
not.
scary movie by even the slightest stretch, but it
Yeah.
still has the like scary
Totally.
ish tropes in it and just like kind of horror vibes. It's more
Yeah.
of like the cozy horror vibe. The show, I felt like more was like a cozy mystery. Like I said, kind of like Only Murders in the
Yeah.
Building, just like a
Mhm.
soapy whodunit. I don't know that it really hit cozy vibes. I guess aside from the characters I did find cozy.
Mhm.
And then I definitely did not also find this scary. I guess it had a couple like little tense scenes. There was something where like the garbage man who was the fake killer, he was, like, the sorta killer, but he wasn't the mastermind killer, which also was, like,
Yes. I know, it
I
was
don't know about
all
that one.
too
I
much.
think I was fine with it just being the garbage man, like, I think we
Which
could
was
have just left it there.
interesting because the garbage
Yeah.
men have this, like, very distinct scene in the movie, and I
Yes.
was like, "Oh my god,
Which
did
is
they
funny,
copy
it's
it
kind of a
scene for
funny
scene?" But
scene.
they didn't, but
Yeah.
it was, like, a very I don't know, it was an interesting homage. Where do we land on that one?
I think you that felt good, that felt right. Homage or what I was like, homage? A homage to the movie. But yes, I like that too, where it was different, but we still had the kind of like funny, just trash content. There was like a baby diaper comment where I was like, yeah, you can't miss trash day when you got dirty baby diapers. That is
Mhm,
gonna
mhm.
mess up your whole week. Your whole week, let me tell you. It's bad enough as it is. But anyway, I thought that ending kind of worked. And I think there was one scary scene where he's chasing her kind of through
Yeah,
dark
yeah,
tunnels or
okay.
something.
Mhm.
It's been a while, but I was like, "Ooh, this is a little tense." And then, he's defeated and then we find out that it's just like Naveen's sort of love interest who's actually I don't even
That
remember.
was
She's like on the board or it, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is the problem that I have with mysteries, right? Because I really enjoy the mystery aspect. I enjoy the red herrings. I enjoy trying to figure
Mhm.
out the clues and kind of not even trying to figure it out, just kind of going along for the ride. But the reveal, 9 times out of 10 is I'm just like, it doesn't make sense because either it's so obvious because they just gave you too many clues that you're like, then yeah, it was this person. Or it's
Mhm.
like this where there was just like nothing. And then it was just this character, this throwaway character that we know nothing about. We have no reason to believe she's involved. We don't care about her at all. And then we're just supposed to be all up in arms, being like, she's the mastermind behind this entire show. It just doesn't work to have that be just like a nothing character. That's like just almost as bad as just having it be like, oh, it's just this random person we've never met. Like the garbage person was just like, I don't know, like you said, it kind of brought us back to the movie and it
Yes.
was believable enough.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good enough where it was just like, I don't know, we kind of got it. We didn't need it to be like, oh, like the garbage man couldn't have cooked all of this up because he's not sophisticated enough. It was like, okay, I don't know.
So I
Would have
can't
been fine with that.
I can't think about red herrings without thinking about Scream, who
Right.
like
Or just
the
murder mystery
masker,
whodunit.
but I've never thought about Scream in terms of them being mysteries, but they are kind of,
Oh
because
yeah.
you find out, you always in the end, with the exception of Scream 7 where it was, like, so obvious, but, like, you
Yes.
find out who it is and you go back and
Yes.
you, like, can see all of these ways in which this makes sense, even though they didn't really drop hints because they had the red
Right. They
herrings
couldn't.
instead.
Yes. Yes.
And this instead, you're absolutely right. I was just, like, totally random.
It felt unfair.
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna
felt
bring it back to
unearned.
what's her name? Annie Wilkes in Misery. It needs to be fair, right? As a fan, we want it to make sense. Even when we're in these campy, outlandish plots, we still want it to be fair to the audience and not bring us out of the story. And also,
Okay.
yes, I need to quote Mindy from Scream, who calls the Scream franchise, the Stab franchise, excuse me, meta slasher whodunits.
It's true, it's
Full stop.
true.
Full
Mindy
stop is what
Mindy
she
has
says.
said it. I just
But
haven't
yeah,
spent
it's a
enough
murder
time
mystery.
reflecting.
It's a
Okay,
murder mystery.
wait, may I go on a quick tangent because you brought up Annie Wilkes?
Of course.
There is this subreddit, it's called Girl Dinner Diaries, and, women post a picture of whatever they have made for themselves for dinner, and then they kind of talk about their day, and, like, the vast majority of them are these just, like, terrible stories of, like, what men in their lives have done to them recently, like,
Oh.
they're, like, breaking up with them over
Yeah.
text or, like, just, like, dumb stuff,
Yeah.
and uh, there was a post recently about, and it was someone pretending to be like Annie Wilkes. And it was like, I forget what it is. I wish I could quote it, but it like had a meal that was very typical of her. And it was like complaining, like, my favorite author totally screwed up his book series and I'm just trying to support him through it. And then it was like the like fake responses of like what people do because the people in the comments are so supportive. And it was like, you go, girl. Have you thought about hobbling him? Sorry, that was like a lot of backstory to give, but I
No,
felt like
you
I
got there. You
absolutely should have
delivered.
screenshotted this for you. I
Have you
can't
thought
believe.
about Oh my god.
Was
That's
so dark. It
funny.
was so
Okay,
good.
I have to run something by you really, really
Yeah.
fast. So we're coming to the end of our season 2, and of course I have to keep podcasting. You'll be on break. I will be podcasting, and I'm going to be doing a writing podcast. And part of it, I
Ooh.
wanted to do like trying other author like writing routines, which is a very common thing that is done on like it's called AuthorTube on YouTube, kind of like the writer space. But I wanted to do kind of like some maybe more unique ones, and I thought about doing like Paul Sheldon's writing routine for one of them.
I mean, actually, all that you have wanted is to be locked away in a snowy cabin
I
by
know.
a
I was like, so
psycho.
how? Right. I think it's like kind of funny because like obviously like no one's going to be injured in the making of this video,
Yeah.
hopefully. But it's like the broad strokes. It's kind of like the humor of it all, and maybe just like less of the psychological torment and more like you said of just the like kind of we get a little of his writing routine at the beginning of the movie, and then we get the just whole idea of my dream of just being in a cabin in the middle of winter, just being forced to write and do nothing else.
Will
There we go.
you also be doing the Jack Torrance writing routine?
Nope, I will not because I thought about it and I was like, he doesn't write and only murders. Paul Sheldon is the victim. I don't want to be the murderer.
I think there's a way to do this where one episode is you locked in a cozy house and the other episode is you locked in a cozy hotel. There you
And
go.
just see if I go insane.
Yes.
Okay, I'll consider it. I'll
Okay,
consider
great.
it. Yeah, I just like the whole like writing like someone who tries to murder their whole family. It's just like a little too far even for me. Like, writing like someone who's, like, held hostage and
This is
hobbled, I'm like,
totally
"Sure, sure,
different,
sure."
yeah,
That's
yeah.
way up my
Okay.
alley. But like, it would maybe be, like, The Shining writing routine or something, like, the Overlook Hotel writing routine. Like, we could maybe put a spin
Yeah.
on it. Anyway,
Mhm.
you're my manager, so
Okay,
we'll
great.
brainstorm
We'll
this
figure it
later.
out together.
Okay, so actually come to a close on our, episode at hand. The big question is, for both of us, will we be watching season 2
I mean,
of The
I
Burbs?
I wanna say right now, no, because I was, like, so annoyed with the ending and how it
Hated
was
the
dragged
ending.
out and, like, I didn't feel like it needed all of that. But on the other hand, like, I do see a period of time in which, like, let's say I get the flu again, that I
Yeah.
would turn it on.
I, like,
That's
also
yeah.
only subscribe to Peacock now, so my
So
options are
you might
limited.
be
Actually, an Apple TV because I will have that as long as you have that because 'cause I'm in
part
your
of
family now.
my credit card will pay for it at least for the next 10 months for
There you
free.
go. Excellent. So, yeah, I'll probably watch it, but you're right, it's like the mood will have to strike, in which time
Yes.
I'm kinda like, "Oh, what should I watch?" And then I'll be like, "Okay, I'll watch The Burbs." Mostly because there were things that I like. I'd like to spend a little more time with some of the characters. I'd like to give them another chance to wrap the story up in a satisfying way that is not at all what they did. It was kind of like okay, I think this show is like maybe doing something. Maybe I like it. Maybe I'm here for it. And at
Yeah.
the end, I just was like, that sucked. Like that was
Mhm.
terrible. It did kind of ruin like a lot of the show for
Yeah.
me.
If
So hopefully
they
they could do it better.
told me season 2 would be the last season, I would be
Yes.
enthusiastic about watching it.
Yes. Or if they were like, we're doing like 3 seasons, even if there just was like a hard stop, right?
Right, with a
But
plan.
this was
Yeah.
very like 2010s where it was like everything had 22 episodes and 57
Mhm.
seasons and just the drama just kept like going up and down and nothing ever
I
got
don't need
resolved.
that.
No, we are now in the era of 8 episode limited series,
Yes.
have it start and finish, like Stranger Things, the first season started and finished. If it was only season 1,
Perfection.
it would have been perfect, right? But it still left the
Yeah.
door open for more things to happen, many of which were good, not everything. We don't need to revisit that
Uh,
old chestnut. But yeah, it needs to have a satisfying conclusion, which I feel like I talked about Only Murders in the Building. Like the first season had a very satisfying conclusion. The second
yeah.
season had a very satisfying conclusion. And it didn't make me, it wanted, made me want to keep watching because I was like, each season is going to
Yeah.
be kind of this own set piece, almost like American Horror Story too. It's like each season kind of stood alone, like they all
Yeah.
shared kind of a vibe,
Fargo
but
is
they
a
each were their own
great
story.
example of that.
Yeah, maybe that's what
Mhm.
I want. I want closure.
I
I want a
love
satisfying ending.
miniseries. I want
Yeah.
miniseries. I want more miniseries.
Yes, tight and satisfying at the ending and campy but believable. That doesn't
This
make sense, but you know what I mean.
feel like we're not asking that much, and this is why we're gonna have to write something someday, actually.
Yeah, we'll get on that after I
Yeah.
figure out my writing routine and which haunted writing routine is
See that
best.
maybe the Jack Torrance writing routine is for us together. We go
There
to
you
a
go.
hotel
Well, we
together.
should because we can actually go to that hotel,
Yes.
right?
Yes, Evan
At least
made
the
a
one
big
that they
point
did
to
to
tell me
outside.
that. Yes.
Yeah. He's our, like, unofficial editor. It's just, like,
I think
unfortunately happens
so.
after we
Yeah,
release
I know.
we
I've
release
never
them.
once given him an episode ahead of time. What could that do
Yeah.
for our quality?
Oh my gosh, actually it would probably like, maybe we become boring because we just would be accurate and, like, what would anyone have to make fun of us
Yeah,
about?
yeah. That's not how the internet works. The internet likes things that are
Messy.
yeah. Mhm,
That's
mhm.
us.
Happy to keep being
Alright.
messy.
So any closing thoughts on the Burbs TV show or anything
Mm.
else? Because we can't stay on topic tonight, apparently.
Paula Pell, and I would just like to say that upon reflection, I do find the friendships and the porch hangs extremely cozy, and I
Yeah.
don't think I gave it enough credit for that, but I'm just gonna say that, and
Yeah, I
it's my
agree.
last
I
thought.
agree. We both do. We love a friendship circle. A
Yes.
friendship is the greatest gift. I don't know.
Friendship
You've heard it
circle.
here. I
Yes.
know. Love a friendship circle. Also, like, don't like. I would bury a body with you, but like, please don't bring that to me.
No, no,
No.
for, like, no good reason and in my walk-in
Yeah.
freezer. I
Like,
will
I'm a
not.
lawyer, and this is, like, the best I can come up with is, like, bury
No.
them in cement. I don't
Mm-mm.
know.
Mm-mm. I won't do that to
Of
you.
the house I own,
I
'cause, like, yeah, who could
promise.
connect it back to me? I own it. Okay.
Yes.
Anywho,
Yes.
also their rationale that, like, everyone thinks it's creepy and haunted, so let's put a dead body in there. Everyone thinks there's bones in the basement. Anywho, enough gripes. This is where I have to stop griping and say, what are we talking about next week, Sarah? Do we know?
I am so excited for next week. I feel like we first saw this movie together, but I could be wrong.
There's no way. Really?
I don't know. It was of the era in which we could
Yeah.
have. But we're jumping into our last our last theme of season 2, which is called Campy Creatures, but now is very specifically about one type of creature. And I love what you've put in the notes here that this is going to be our absolute lowest quality movie we may ever talk about on this podcast.
I'm pretty confident in that.
Do you wanna tell us what it is?
Sharknado, because you reminded me of that description. The
Yeah.
one, the only Sharknado. Never will it be duplicated. I have watched it already, and I was not in the right mood for it. It pissed me off, to
Oh
be honest.
no.
Yeah, I was like, why does this exist? Why must I comment on this?
I apologize for
grumpy.
bringing this to us, but I'm looking
No.
forward to you being the grumpy one in the episode, maybe.
It'll be good. It'll be good because I was like expecting, I remember enjoying this and it disturbs me.
Ooh, okay, I can't wait. It has been brought to my attention that I am the grumpier one of the two of us about almost every single thing that we watch.
Who said that?
I mean, our number one fan,
Our editor. I just think recently we haven't watched anything that you like.
It's been I mean, I loved Ready or Not. I guess that was like 2 months ago already. What is time? Anyway, we'll see. I might hate my rewatch of Sharknado, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna love it. We'll see.
I hope you do. I hope you do. We'll find out. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.